so I actually got to play in an OTS Championship over the weekend. So make sure you guys smash the little crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out more. It's tournament review time. Robbie, where's the deck list? So I'll talk about that here in a second. So we got to play in Rivals' first OTS Championship out of the weekend. It's actually like the first time I have got to play like competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! In a little while. And I actually chose to play Sky Striker for the event. Now, in terms of the list I wanted to play, I wanted to test Joshua Schmidt's list. I like the concept and theories that he had. I was very, very, very weirded out. Like, old parts of me wanted to keep multi-roll and Area Zero and, you know, the field spell. Because, you know, you kind of clutch onto those cards. But I said, you know what? Let's step away from this. Let's actually go test the theory here and see. The only major change I made was, I think, I did have access to 3 crowns because I was borrowing them from my friend. But I decided to cut 1 crown for an Illusion Gate, because I think Illusion Gate is just such a bonkers stupid card. Like, not only does it provide me with a board wipe and a deck that wants to go second anyway that I can thrust into and, you know, get a monster onto my field to further try to win the game, it eats a Ghost Bell if it needs to, and that's one less option in the hand trap department that I kind of feel like I had to use. I did enjoy Crossout and Call By. Call By was, I think, MVP over the week, and that card was insane. In terms of matchups, and we'll talk about the modern decks here over the weekend and some of the impact that Carmeli will have later on in this video. So now that I've gotten my bearings back for this. So playing into this tournament, I played against Artmage round 1. God knows, reading Artmage cards for the first time. So, like, I do deck profiles, I cover things, but, like, it's a difference between, like, when you actually sit down and you have to, like, read every interaction. I know that the deck wants to have something in the main monster zone. They have a way to protect the main monster zone. They can kind of dance around the field and spin me right round, baby, right round. That's kind of like the concept of the deck. I kind of found that, like, if you can just keep something off the main monster zone, or, you know, just kind of deal with the problems. Oddly enough, I went first 1 game against them, and Double Widow Anchor just kind of ended that deck's game. So we learned that going first was actually acceptable. I know, it's kind of weird. There were quite a few games this weekend that I chose to go first in game 2. There's nothing, like, particularly crazy that you're signing in to, like, change that. It's just certain times it just felt a little bit better than going second into certain matchups. So Artmage was all right of a deck. Malice, I think our game 1 took like 35 to, I think there was like 13 minutes on the timer at the end of game 1. And I was so frustrated because, like, Malice genuinely takes forever to play and to get set up. And it's just not a fun matchup. Actually, I think that was my round. That was my round 2. Actually, no, that was my round 2 or my round 3. Either way, it was an interchangeable round where I played against Branded Draco Tail. I think it was round 2 or 3, and then it was Malice. But either way, Branded Draco Tail with Striker is not a terrible matchup. We have infinite ways to dodge flames, droplet, you know, linkage. You know, Lightning Storm was pretty MVP that matchup. I actually, that card felt very, very, very strong in that matchup. I enjoyed that. It was pretty good. Round 4, I played against Crystron, and this matchup was insane. I actually have it recorded. We will upload it later in the week for feature. God, man. I had 4 engages resolve game 3, and I couldn't keep up. I also misplayed at the end and slammed the Hornet drones on the table because my brain just went, chain it, Robbie, and I was like, whee! And the Infinity negated it when we had a droplet resolving. So, you know, shouldn't have done that, but, you know, Striker, I'm not going to say that, like, I'm the best Striker player in the world because I'm very far from it. But, like, if you played Striker in 2019 and kind of have played it a little bit in between, you can kind of BS your way through things. That's why like, I like the multi-roll, because if I misplay, it's kind of like a safety net. You know, you can, things you don't want to hear from, you know, people playing the deck. You can be bad, and multi-roll actually fixes your mistakes. I know, right? Strange concept built into a deck. And I didn't have that safety net. So, yeah, it was a little bit patchy. I'm not going to lie about that. But, you know, just managing the resources was fine. Round 5 was against Vanquish Soul Canine. We can't beat that matchup. I tried, man. Like, I love watching my cards fizzle because, chain bounce back to hand. And it's just like, I would have loved more board wipes. That would have been a matchup that I would have loved to have had Raigekis and things for to kind of deal with. I would have felt a little bit better. So we ended up 3-2, which is not the worst. It's really disappointing because we started 3-0. We had such a good track record. We lost like a pretty critically important game 3 against Crystron, or else we would have been 4-0. And I think we would have topped the OTS Championship and at least top 8, having such a good track record at that point. There's just not really, I feel like, much I could have done in that Crystron matchup. Like, especially, you know, it was also the curse of Desires drawing into Desires, which it happens. There's the curse of Desires is just such a beautiful, beautiful thing. Things I would have considered playing differently. I didn't draw Crown. It's crazy, right? I borrow these Forbidden Crowns because I think the card's really good in the deck, which it is in theory, and I boarded them in a lot, but there was no opportunity to really see them. I would have loved a Raigeki in the side deck, or at least another Illusion Gate. Lightning Storms were bonkers good. I did board in Drolls, and this is all like assuming you've looked at Joshua Schmidt's list from the last YCS. I would have loved a Raigeki. Another Illusion Gate would have been great. Having 5 board breakers to have access to would have been great. Multi-roll would have been a cool safety net, but I truly don't think there was any scenario that it would have mattered to me. Now, we do get and that's part of the reason why we're just kind of talking about this. Carmelia comes out this weekend. Whoo-wee! We also get the Link one. We get the little board wiper as well. We are getting the final tools to make Striker viable to a better point. And I gotta tell you guys, I have been waiting for Carmelia for years. I think there were a couple of times this weekend where Carmelia would have made my life a little bit easier. Also, I mean, I saw a lot of Hornet Drones. Like, oh my god, Hornet Drones. Like, that card was always, like, creeping around the corner looking at me and, like, waving awkwardly. It's like, hi, you want another extender? Because, like, there's just times where your opponent just watching my Striker monster get blown off of the field, and then it's like you have to those are like the times that you have to rely on the Hornet Drones to regenerate the monster. So, you know, it's a pretty good card. Also, I guess I should probably say, you know, Carmelia's going to save the deck. The Link one's probably going to do some things. I got to figure out how to play that. I've not played the Link one at all. I've read it a couple of times, but I've not done anything with it. I'm looking forward to that, at least. And the board wiper is pretty decent. I do want to give a shout out here, though, to Rivals for running probably one of the coolest OTS championships I've been to. I do need to go back to Refined, and I do need to play their OTS championship in the near future. But I got to give a shout out to not only Joshua Schmidt for cooking up probably one of the coolest Striker lists I've had the chance to play. I got to give a shout out to Eagle Booster. Eagle Booster was single-handedly the reason why I was able to do as good as I could out of this weekend. Being able to just ignorantly, and I mean truly ignorantly, just not be able to fully break a board, set the Eagle Boost, pass on over the opponent's turn, and just have a Shizuku on the field that I know is going to survive back to my turn to handle more problems was absurd. That card should have not been anywhere near the level of usable as it was. And shockingly enough, it put in the most work. I actually, looking at Eagle Booster, I thought about cutting the card jokingly, by the way. I thought that the card was going to be terrible, but I was absolutely wrong about that one. And Eagle Booster was definitely the carry. So we'll see how Carmelian things. I will probably have a deck profile talking about what I want to do with the deck over the weekend here when I do get Carmelia's in hand. You guys know I love Striker to death. It's one of my favorite decks you know, it's really bad rarities at the moment, but it's like half maxed, half poor, but, you know, it's okay. So please, leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think. I'll see your beautiful faces back here in the day, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.